Okay, here's my recently restored 1930 Silvertone console radio. This was the first radio that I ever managed to have and rebuild and rework from Reading, Pennsylvania. I acquired it sometime in the early mid-70s. Anyway, it's all working again. It has a RCA chassis in it. It has 2 amplifier tubes, 3 RF amplifiers in the detector, and a rectifier. There were several things wrong with this, and not sure what caused it to go bad, but there's a grid biasing resistor in the audio amplifier section that was bad, and some wires also that needed to be rerouted. The unit was working, then you quit working, I guess several years ago. Anyway, the challenge with these radios, they're tuned RFs, and they do not have an IF. So they're basically a modified crystal receiver in a way, and they work out through amplification of the RF that comes in, and then they detect the audio and separate it, and then it sends it to the amplifiers back here. I'm going to turn the set on and you can hear it, and then I'm going to talk to you about a modification I made to the unit and built an antenna for it, which is, normally they had a long wire antenna outside, and this antenna allowed you to receive the signal. They didn't have any built-in antennas at this time, like Zenith had one in the 40s that worked out really nice. It's only AM, and this is very cool here. Anyway, this antenna is pretty neat. Found it on the internet and built it. It has a 24-inch diameter wooden frame with 12 turns of wire on it, and has a tuning capacitor between it and the input to the set. The input's right here, and it's hot melted on, and then it comes over here to the tuning capacitor, and the tuning capacitor is attached to the antenna here. Then the other lead, the ground lead, is attached down here. So it's totally self-contained, but you can add a ground to it to make it work. But the radio actually tunes at 2 points up front, the main station tuning knob here, and then the increased induction here. And you can hear the volume change. There's a tone control down here. And then the on-off switch over here. Going back to the antenna, but this tuning control works really good, and you'll be able to hear the increase in volume by this adjusting to the resonant frequency. You can hear it, you can peak the antenna. Hear that? That's nothing. It's amazing how well this thing works. It's really hard to make this wiring look nice in here, but it's 22 gauge copper wire, 12 turns, and it's hard to hold. It's 2 of these frames glued together to make it 1.5 inches in diameter, not diameter, width-wise, and then it has all of the copper wire. There's 67 feet of wire here, and the information that I got off the internet is here contained on this information sheet, and it shows you various experiments that they had with various turns of wire. Well, I used this information plus what they gave me up here, and he worked out with 11 turns, and then the tuning capacitor. So Joanne Fabrics had the wooden frame for quilting purposes, and it was $7. But this is a way around getting the need for an antenna, and as you can see, it works very well, and it's tuned specifically to this station here. But
a great number of in that group called Gnostics who did not believe. Low, you don't have to worry about him going up. Well, I'm sure you don't trust that now. You owe it to your struggles that people have right now with financial. Now, for many reasons, they couldn't before. But if you're talking about doing abortion...
So you can see that antenna does a fantastic job. Again, this is an AM receiver only, but it's a beautiful piece. And the original refinishings took place back in the 70s, and then was just basically linseed, and this time I refinished it by adding some wipe-on satin urethane. There's 2 coats on there, but it's beautiful and it plays well. So anyway, that's about it. The tubes have all been tested, and the components that I put in there were all done through some experimentation to finding the right values, because I had no schematic to go by, but I found something similar. So I used that thought process to get the unit back on the air. That's it for now. I hope that somebody looking at this will appreciate what goes into doing this. Again, this is from 1930. 1930. So it's fantastic. Hope you enjoyed.